This is a very basic example of a workplace safety map for forestry workers. We have the road on which we're working, SJ16, St. John 16, and we have the mile markers that we created using the generate points along lines. Now we can say that we're working on the side road on the right just after the third mile marker, and then we can say that's exactly where we're going to be. Somebody else who's working for the same company who knows this road system is going to be able to find us. Now the input for the generate points along lines tool needs to be a single continuous road segment. If you had a roads layer where you had attributes such as SJ16, you could select by attributes and select this entire road system and then dissolve that into a single continuous line that doesn't have any relation to all these other lines. If we just threw the generate points along lines tool at this road system, it would take the whole thing and it would throw points everywhere on this map and be useless. So what we need to do is generate that single line. We can do that manually by selecting all of these, but every time the road goes by a side chute, it creates a new line segment. And in places like this where you have lots of side roads, you end up with lots of tiny little segments that might be just 10 feet long, but that still interrupts the generate points along lines tool. So what I'm going to show you now is how to use the Trace Features tool in the Editor toolbar. And that is going to allow us to generate a new line that follows the track of this road. So we're going to turn off our layer there. We're going to go Customize, Toolbars, Editor. I'm going to drag that and attach it to our dock. We're going to create a new shapefile. That's going to be road SJ16. Feature type must be polyline, and it needs to have a coordinate system. I'm going to use NAD 1983 UTM zone 19 north. Okay. So now we have our new SJ16 road. Now if we turn that on and then right click, edit features, start editing. Continue. And now we need to work with a tool that does not default into the editor toolbar. So we need to go Customize, Customize Mode, Commands, scroll down to Editor, not Edit, scroll down under Commands to Trace. Now click, hold, drag, drop, close. So now we are going to work on road SJ16, so we select it, click on line, and click once at the beginning. It's important to start from the beginning of the road, at the bottom of the road, so that we're counting 0, 1, 2, 3, and not 0, 1, 2, 3 from the top. So right at the intersection with the main highway, click once, and then you see I've released the click, I'm not holding. I can go over to Trace, click once on Trace, and now it's asking what do you want me to trace. So we're going to click on, we're going to zoom in here, try to click on the first vertex of this line feature. So click once, and now it knows it wants to follow along this line. We don't have to be exactly on it until we get off that main road. Then we have to back up to that intersection and then follow along it. If we need to move the map, so we're still tracing along here, tracing along. Follows along quite easily until you get to a really complicated section. Then it gets a bit tricky. sometimes you have to zoom in, let it know just where you want it to trace along, and then it's going quick again. Now it doesn't like this point because it's trying to get up around. See how it has to get up to this intersection and then down? That's a hard turn for it to make. So you have to zoom right in and babysit that. Sometimes if you confuse it, it'll bounce back to where it was before and you have to start over for a bit. Let's try clicking here. So we've finished that segment. We want to carry on from here. We'll click again, and now we're tracing again. So it's like saving your progress before you go on to the next level. Click. So now we can go around our bad intersection. Click again to start tracing again. And click to save our progress around there. So you see every one of these vertices is shared with the established road. So you can click again. It's telling us the last place we were, that is going to be this red segment. Click on that again to start tracing again. Now it wants to go around that segment. That's not allowed, so you have to go back there. Tell it no, we have to go around. Still tracing along. Now we've done something we don't like, so we can use Control Z, Control Z. Then we can go back to our last save point there. Zoom right in on where we were. Snap to that point and carry on tracing. Now, so this is the end of where we're working. We can double click. End, and now we have SJ16 as our roads layer. We can turn off the other one and we can see these are exactly the same vertices as the original roads layer, meaning we can make an accurate measurement along this line. So let's stop editing. Editor, stop editing. Yes, I want to save my edits, and now I can search for tools, generate points along lines. My input feature is SJ16. I want points at a specified distance, units in miles, and I want them every 1 mile. I don't want endpoints. We don't have a mile 0 marker. And here are our SJ16 generate points along line mile markers. If we use our measure tool, we can choose the units miles and then measure along that road and see that with all these crooks and bends accounted for, this point is 1 mile from the end of that road. If you try to follow along that, you'll see that every one of these points is indeed 1 mile road distance along this line. So we can close this. If we open the attribute table, we'll see we have object IDs 1, 2, 3, 4, through 9. If we double click, we can go to the Labels tab, and we want the label field Object ID. We want the label features in this layer. Now we have the mile marker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 9. And that is how you use the Trace tool to generate a new line feature, upon which you can use the Generate Points Along Lines tool to generate mile markers along a road.